You're not bad with money. You're not lazy. You're just burned out. Because when your brain's in survival mode, juggling bills, income that changes every week, a million small financial decisions, it's not that you can't handle money, it's that you've run out of the mental bandwidth to care. If that hits a little too close to home, stick with me because today I want to help you understand why financial burnout happens and what to actually do about it. In my financial planning practice, I talk to business owners, retirees, and people from all sorts of backgrounds who say they're just bad with money. It comes across in a bunch of ways, like I try to budget, but I never stick with it. I can't even open my bank app anymore. I know what I should be doing, but I just can't seem to do it. I get it. I've been there myself, especially as a business owner. It feels like there's a point where finance goes beyond just discipline and intelligence. When your brain is overloaded, financial tasks that should take 5 minutes, like paying a bill or checking QuickBooks, feel like you're scaling Everest. So let's unpack what's really happening here and how to reset. Financial stress literally rewires how your brain works. Behavioral finance research calls this cognitive overload, and it shifts your brain into survival mode. When your income feels uncertain or your expenses are rising, it narrows your focus to only the most urgent task and tunes everything else out. Basically, you're playing hot potato instead of actually planning. There was a psychological study done that found when people are constantly worried about money, it's like losing up to 13 IQ points. Not because they're less smart, but because their mental bandwidth is maxed out. It's like having too many browser tabs open. Groceries, taxes, rent, business expenses all eat up the memory until the system crashes. And that's when you start to see patterns like forgetting to pay bills even when there's money in the account, avoiding your statements because you can't deal with it right now, or overspending just to try to get that tiny dopamine hit. That's not incompetence. It's your brain trying to protect you from more stress. So what can you do about it? Instead of playing the blame game, remember, you're not behind because you're bad with money. You're behind because your mind is overloaded. What does money burnout actually feel like? And how can you recognize it? Because once you can spot it, you can start fixing it. There are 3 layers we can peel back: emotional, cognitive, and behavioral. First, we'll look at emotional. Financial stress triggers the same part of the brain that responds to danger. That's why you might feel anxious, ashamed, or even guilty when the word money comes up. A recent Bankrate study found 43% of Americans say money is hurting their mental health. We're talking lost sleep, irritability, and having that constant pit in your stomach. And the icing on the cake is that shame compounds and makes things worse. When you feel ashamed, your brain says, avoid it, don't look. So you push it off even further, which causes more stress, which reinforces the belief that you're bad with money. Call it the shame loop. And I've seen it in people who are high income earners, business owners, and even other financial professionals. No one is immune to it. Second, cognitive. This is the brain fog stage. You know what to do, but you just can't get yourself to do it. Even small things like choosing which account to transfer from feels exhausting. That's textbook decision fatigue. Third, behavioral. This is when the burnout shows up in your habits. You stop opening mail, you're late filing taxes, you order takeout instead of cooking because your brain just needs something easy. And sometimes you even overspend to escape the stress, that little dopamine hit that says, I deserve this. None of this means you're reckless or irresponsible. It means you're human and your brain is tapped out. So the real question is not, why am I bad with money? It's, how do I recover from burnout so I can get better with money? And that's where most people get it wrong, because they try to fix burnout with more spreadsheets. Let's zoom out a bit. So if you're a creator, freelancer, or small business owner, burnout hits harder. Why? Because your income isn't predictable. When one month you make 20K and the next you make 2K, your brain never relaxes. You're constantly asking, can I afford this? And every decision feels high stakes. Research from Frontiers in Psychology in 2024 found that entrepreneurs experience higher rates of anxiety and depression than employees, mainly due to that instability. You might even recognize this feeling. You get a good month of income and you think, finally, I'm back on track. Then a slow month hits and it feels like all your progress vanished overnight. And that roller coaster is exhausting. And when your nervous system stays in fight or flight for too long, burnout is inevitable. So when I say you're not bad with money, what I really mean is you're fighting a system designed to keep you in this vicious cycle. That system is fixable though, if you change how you manage your energy as much as your money. So what does that look like and how can you pull yourself out? This isn't where you want to learn 10 new budgeting hacks. It's where you rebuild lost momentum and get the train back on the tracks. Here are the first 5 steps you can take. Step 1, automate and simplify. You don't need to manually budget everything. In fact, you really shouldn't. Automation is your shield, like using autopay for bills, creating automatic transfers for savings. The fewer decisions you have to make, the more bandwidth you free up. Step 2, start small. Burnout convinces you that if you can't do everything perfectly, you should do nothing. But progress beats perfection every single time. Even transferring $10 to savings or catching up one overdue bill is a win because it rebuilds confidence. You can even trick your brain with mediocrity by saying you'll just do one thing and next thing you know, you've done 10 more. Step 3 is protect your energy. We talked about the empty gas tank earlier. Well, here we are. Sleep, breaks, exercise are not luxuries. They're the fuel to help you make better decisions. If you've been trying to grind through it, try resting instead. Step 4 is shift from shame to support. Stop carrying this alone. Find a system, a coach, or even a community that understands all of this. Whether it's a financial advisor or just a friend who's been there, accountability breaks that isolation. And lastly, step 5, simplify your system. If your finances feel chaotic, the goal isn't to do more, it's to do less better. Consolidate your accounts, outsource your bookkeeping, remove the friction wherever you can. When I work with creators or business owners, I tell them it's not about tracking every penny, it's about creating systems that work even when you're tired. And when you do that, the shame fades because you stop trying to fix yourself and start supporting yourself. So let me leave you with this. You aren't bad with money. You're just someone who's been under too much pressure for too long. The moment you recognize that and stop playing the blame game with yourself, everything starts to change. Because now you're not fixing a flaw. You're recovering from exhaustion. So if you've been avoiding your finances, go do one thing right now. Automate a bill. Open your bank app for 5 seconds. Just do something small because small actions rebuild that trust with yourself. And if this video helped you reframe that story even a little, give it a like or share it with someone who needs to hear it. Remember, one last time, you're not bad with money. You're just human. Now, let's fix it together. Thanks for watching.